I began a relationship with Pam 18 months ago as I was then preparing to move from my home in Minneapolis with my husband and my two girls to start a church in New York City. Mark and Pam had just left the city before we got here, but I knew that her experience in New York City, her gifts of exhortation and pastoral care, and really her passion for taking care of ministry leaders was going to be something that I needed in this huge life-altering transition. So for the past 18 months, Pam and I have been meeting over the phone and with God's grace a few times in person. And she's done everything that I expected and more. Pam is encouraging. She is a great listener. She prays for me. She points me to God. She reminds me of the truth of who I am, what I'm doing here. She speaks into my marriage, in my ministry context, everything that you would expect from an amazing, gifted person like Pam. But something else has happened in the last 18 months for me, and that's something I like to call the God factor, which is when God tells me to do something and I say, okay, God, I will do it, I'm going to show up. God shows up too. And He gave me, through Pam, things that I needed. He gave me things I didn't know I needed. And He gave me something more, which is a spiritual mother. I was raised by both my parents, who I don't have a good relationship with, and we weren't raised in the church. And then when I became a Christian as an adult, I came into ministry really early on in my walk. So I never really had spiritual parents. And it's not something I thought about missing out on until last month when Pam and I were ending our conversation and she said to me, "I'm proud of you." And in that moment, my heart just welled up because I knew that God was speaking to me through her. But I also knew that God was speaking through Pam as a mother who would say to her child, "I'm proud of you." And I just had never heard that. Pam is really great. God is so much greater. And what I love about Pam is that when Pam shows up, she expects God to show up. And she lets God work through her for people like me.